Imagine a time when hearing a voice from far away was pure magic. A time before phones, before instant messages. It was 1876, a world buzzing with new machines like trains and factories. But human connection was still bound by distance. Sending a message meant waiting for days, sometimes weeks. But one man had a revolutionary dream: to make sound travel through a simple wire, allowing voices to leap across miles. In a humble workshop, fueled by passion and countless sleepless nights, that dream became a reality. The first telephone was born, and the man behind it, Alexander Graham Bell, was about to change the way we communicate forever. Alexander Graham Bell was born on March 3, 1847, in Edinburgh, Scotland. His world was shaped by Sondor, the lack of it. His father, Alexander Melville Bell, was a renowned speech teacher who developed a system called visible speech to help people, especially the deaf, speak clearly. His mother, Elisa Gray Simmons Bell, was a talented musician who was almost completely deaf. This deeply personal connection to hearing loss fueled young Alexander's empathy and curiosity. He would speak slowly and clearly, close to his mother's face, so she could read his lips, using gestures to bridge the silence between them. Watching her struggles sparked a lifelong quest to understand the mysteries of sound and hearing. Bell's early education was unconventional. He learned mostly at home from his father, with a brief stint at a private school. At 11, he enrolled in the Royal High School of Edinburgh, but he found the rigid curriculum uninspiring. He wasn't interested in memorizing facts. He was fascinated by music, experiments, and understanding how things worked. His inventive spirit showed early. At just 12 years old, he created his first invention: a simple device to remove husks from wheat, making the process much faster than doing it by hand. By the age of 15, Bell left formal schooling behind, choosing to learn through his own hands-on experiments. He believed science was like playing with ideas until it clicked. He continued to work alongside his father, delving deeper into the mechanics of visible speech, studying how the mouth, tongue, and voice box work together to create sound. This foundational knowledge of acoustics and vocal physiology would prove crucial to his later inventions. In 1865, the Bell family moved from Scotland to the bustling city of London, England. This move exposed Alexander to a wider world of science and learning. He attended classes at the University of Edinburgh and later at University College London, where he studied anatomy and a human voice. Though he never completed a formal degree, his thirst for knowledge was unstoppable. But this period was also marked by profound tragedy. The polluted London air took a toll on his brothers, Edward and Melville, who both suffered from tuberculosis. Following doctors' advice to seek a healthier climate, the family made a difficult decision. By 1870, after losing both of his brothers to the devastating illness, the grieving Bell family immigrated to Canada. They settled near Brantford, Ontario, a place of fresh air and open skies. It was here, amidst the quiet Canadian landscape, that Alexander found solace and the space to heal. He turned a barn behind their new home into a workshop, a sanctuary filled with tuning forks, batteries, and coils of wire. He spent his days exploring how sound waves travel and how their vibrations could be converted into electrical signals, and then back into sound again. He was on a mission, not just to send coded clicks and beeps, but to transmit the very essence of human communication in voice. In 1871, Bell's reputation as a teacher of the deaf brought him an invitation to the Boston School for the Deaf in the United States. His unique methods were a revelation. He taught with patience and kindness, helping his students feel sound by having them place their hands on his throat as he spoke. For them, he wasn't just a teacher. He was a beacon of hope, someone who believed that the barrier of silence could be overcome. While teaching, Bell's mind was constantly buzzing with new ideas. He balanced his lessons with late-night electrical experiments. By 1873, his expertise earned him a professorship in vocal physiology at Boston University. It was around this time that he met a gifted electrician named Thomas Watson. Watson shared Bell's passion for invention, and the two quickly formed a powerful partnership. Their initial goal was to create a harmonic telegraph, a device that could send multiple telegraph messages over a single wire. But as they worked, Bell had a groundbreaking realization. If they could transmit the simple tones of the telegraph, why not the complex, nuanced waves of the human voice? By early 1876, Bell and Watson were working feverishly in their small Boston workshop, The pressure was immense. They weren't just racing against technical challenges. They were in a race against other inventors. Another innovator, Elisha Gray, was working on a very similar idea. In an incredible twist of fate, both men filed for a patent on their telephone concepts on the very same day. But Bell's application was submitted just hours before Gray's. On March 7, 1876, the U.S. Patent Office granted Alexander Graham Bell the historic patent for the telephone. Just 3 days later, on March 10, 1876, history was made, quite by accident. While working on his liquid transmitter, Bell spilled some battery acid on his clothes. In a moment of panic, he called out to his assistant in the next room, "Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you." But this was no ordinary call. The words traveled through the wire connecting their workstations, and Watson heard them clearly on his receiving device. It was the first time a human voice had ever been transmitted electrically. The telephone was born. The invention was soon demonstrated to the public, most famously at the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia. The audience, including the Emperor of Brazil, was left speechless. People couldn't believe their ears. The idea of hearing a live voice from another room seemed like pure sorcery. Within a few short years, telephone lines began to crisscross cities and connect homes, shrinking the world and forever changing business, relationships, and society itself. Bell later married Mabel Gardner Hubbard, one of his former deaf students, who became his lifelong partner and a steadfast supporter of his work. While the telephone industry boomed, Bell himself never lost his primary focus. He remained a dedicated scientist, educator, and advocate for the deaf community. He continued his experiments until his death on August 2, 1922, as a tribute to the man who gave the world its voice. Every single telephone in North America was silenced for 1 full minute during his funeral. The world paused in shared silence to honor the inventor who connected us all.